Hi everybody, here is a quick review of Harney & Sons Temi Sikkim tea. The Temi Sikkim is a black tea. It's a Darjeeling style tea, which means that although it isn't grown in the traditional Darjeeling area, it's produced in the same way as a Darjeeling tea. It's grown, harvested, dried in the same process and the same manner, but it isn't grown in the region that would qualify it for a Darjeeling tea. And here's a look at the tea leaves themselves. This has a very grassy scent and only a little floral aroma when it's dry. 1.5 teaspoons of tea were used, and it was brewed for 4 minutes. It smells a little bit like honey once it's brewed, but it isn't really a distinct honey or sweet scent. The flavor is light, but it has a dry aftertaste. You know you're drinking a black tea, but it's not an overwhelmingly smoky taste like you would get with a Lapsang Souchong. It has a really subtle flavor by itself. This has no sweeteners of any kind in it. It's really that dry aftertaste that gives it any sort of presence. Now let me see what it's like with a little bit of agave. Alright, I stirred in half a teaspoon of agave, and it helps to bring out some of the honey aroma that I was talking about earlier. It helps to bring that out in the flavor, but there's still that dry aftertaste, which I happen to really like. It might not be for everyone because you find yourself sort of, smacking your tongue on the roof of your mouth after you've had a drink, so that might not be for everybody. Overall, this is a very fine everyday tea. This is a high quality everyday black tea. It's great for in the morning to get you going, and it doesn't have so much caffeine where it will keep you awake at night. Adding milk to this tea would cut that dry aftertaste, and you wouldn't have to worry about the lip smacking factor. It would sort of mellow it out at the end, but I prefer to drink it as is without any milk and maybe just a bit of agave. Hi everybody, here's a quick review of Harney & Sons Organic Rooibos tea. Here's what the tea looks like before it's brewed. It's not exactly tea leaves, it's more like tea bark and little pieces of twigs. It has nice shades of reds and nice shades of browns. It's an herbal tea that doesn't have a light flavor. It actually almost tastes caffeinated. It has a deep, earthy, robust flavor. And to brew this cup, I used 2 teaspoons of loose tea and brewed it for 4 minutes. The aroma is earthy in the same way the dried tea leaves has that earthy aroma. And let me just give this a taste. This is very full-bodied, even though it's an herbal tea. It doesn't have a dry aftertaste. There's a little bit of honey after you swallow. It tastes very green. It has grasses, but it also is somewhat reminiscent of a black tea. You're not going to mistake this for a green tea or a light flavored herbal tea. If someone served this to you and you didn't know it was an herbal tea, you might assume it has caffeine in it. It is very full-bodied and full-flavored. It holds up well on its own, but if you prefer milk and sugar or creams or stevia, the tea takes to those well, though they're not necessary. I prefer drinking this tea as is. This is one of my favorite Harney & Sons tea, and I will definitely be buying it again. If you're in the market for an herbal tea, I would suggest trying this out. You will not be disappointed.